Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to discuss the reality of China's economic dominance, which is more disturbing than most people realize. China's economic engine is firing on all cylinders, while America's is sputtering like a 1978 AMC Gremlin. Over the past few decades, China has transformed into an economic juggernaut, leaving America trailing in its wake. We're talking about a staggering trade deficit, millions of manufacturing jobs shipped overseas, and a global power dynamic tilting further in China's favor. So grab your thinking caps. Remember when made in China meant flimsy knockoffs? Well, those days are over. Today, Chinese consumers enjoy greater purchasing power, snapping up luxury goods, high-tech gadgets, and more. This surge in spending drives China's economic growth, and it's a trend that shows no signs of slowing down. For years, China has been known as the world's factory, churning out an endless supply of goods at low prices. In 2019, China surpassed the United States in purchasing power parity, according to the IMF. This means that when you adjust for the cost of goods and services, the Chinese economy is actually larger than the U.S. economy. Let's talk about GDP. It's the most widely used measure of economic activity. It tells a clear story about the U.S. and China. China's economy is catching up to the U.S., and it's only a matter of time before it overtakes it. Let's compare apples to apples, or in this case, growth rates to growth rates. Since 1970, China's GDP growth rate has dwarfed that of the United States. China is Usain Bolt sprinting, while America is a guy in flip-flops hailing a cab. Remember when America was the world's breadbasket and industrial powerhouse? Those days are fading fast. China has surpassed the U.S. in agricultural and industrial output, becoming the largest producer in both sectors. Remember 2001? Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake rocked matching denim outfits, and China joined the World Trade Organization. It was like injecting rocket fuel into China's booming economy, sending exports soaring and fueling an unprecedented period of growth. Let's talk long-term trends. Over the past 4 decades, China has maintained an enviable average economic growth rate. This isn't just luck. It's the result of strategic planning, investment, and relentless focus on development. Remember the 2008 financial crisis? While the world reeled from the worst economic downturn in decades, China stepped up. Its economic engine kept chugging along, driving global GDP growth post-crisis. Remember when made in China was a punchline? Well, those days are over. China is no longer content with just making cheap toys and t-shirts. They're now the world's leading manufacturer of smartphones, computers, solar panels, and electric vehicles. They've invested heavily in advanced manufacturing, research, and development, and now lead in many high-tech industries. Remember when America was the world's best friend, trading partners with everyone and calling the shots? Those days are fading fast. China has quietly become the primary trading partner for many countries, expanding its influence. Here's a fun fact that'll bake your noodle. More countries now trade with China than with the United States. This shift impacts geopolitics, supply chains, and the future of the global economy. Remember those lithium-ion batteries powering your smartphone and electric car? China has a firm grip on their supply chain. This dominance gives China a huge strategic advantage in clean energy transition. Remember when you could just stroll into a store and buy whatever you wanted? The pandemic certainly threw a wrench in that, didn't it? As the world's manufacturing powerhouse, China plays a critical role in global supply chains for electronics, clothing, pharmaceuticals, and automotive parts. Remember when the Fortune 500 list was dominated by American companies? Well, those days are going the way of the dodo bird. Chinese companies are rapidly climbing the ranks of the Fortune Global 500, showcasing their growing economic might. Remember when America was the world's export kingpin? Well, Those days are as gone as a gallon of gas under $2. China has overtaken the United States as the largest exporter, shipping a staggering volume of goods each year. Remember when 2027 seemed like a lifetime away? Well, it's closer than you think, and it could mark a pivotal moment in history. The year China surpasses the U.S. as the largest economy. Some projections say China's economic dominance is near. Remember when you could buy American-made products without trying? Those days are as rare as bipartisan agreement in Congress. The trade deficit between the U.S. and China has been a problem for decades, and it's only getting worse. Remember when America used to make things? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Today, America seems addicted to imports, and China is happy to oblige. The United States is the world's largest importer, with China as its biggest supplier. Remember when America was the world's banker, lending money to everyone and calling the shots? Well, those days are as dated as a Blockbuster membership card. China holds trillions in U.S. Treasury securities. Remember when America had a trade surplus? Yeah, me neither. Meanwhile, China enjoys record trade surpluses year after year. This surplus shows China's manufacturing prowess, competitive pricing, and global demand for its products. Remember when America was synonymous with cutting-edge technology? Well, hold on to your floppy disks, because China is taking the high-tech throne. China's share of the global high-tech export market is rising, while the United States' share is declining. Remember when most computers were made in America? Well, prepare to have your mind blown. Today, a staggering percentage of computers are manufactured in China, shifting the tech power balance. Remember when America was a manufacturing powerhouse, providing millions of good-paying jobs? Well, those jobs haven't just disappeared, they've been outsourced, many to China. Since 2001, the United States has lost millions of manufacturing jobs, a trend that has devastated American workers and communities. Remember when Detroit was the automobile capital of the world? Well, buckle up, because China is now the world's largest vehicle producer, churning out more cars, trucks, and buses than any other country. From homegrown brands like Geely and BYD to joint ventures with global automakers, China's automotive industry is firing on all cylinders. Remember when Made in America was a badge of honor? That badge has been tarnished by the exodus of American manufacturing jobs to China. Millions of jobs have been lost to China over the past few decades, hollowing out American industries and communities. Remember when factories were a common sight in America, providing good-paying jobs for millions? Those factories have been closing at an alarming rate. The American manufacturing sector has been in decline for decades due to automation, globalization, and China's rise as a manufacturing powerhouse. Remember when they said manufacturing jobs were coming back to America? Those promises now seem as empty as a politician's campaign pledge. Projections suggest the U.S. could lose even more manufacturing jobs to China next year. Remember when China was associated with poverty? Well, those days are fading faster than a cheap pair of jeans. China's middle class has exploded in recent decades, creating a massive new consumer market reshaping the global economy. Remember when the American middle class was the envy of the world? That envy has faded along with the American dream for many families. The U.S. middle class has been shrinking for decades, squeezed by stagnant wages and rising costs of living and a declining manufacturing sector. Remember when America was the world's leading producer of everything? Those days are as over as a New Year's resolution on January 2nd. In 2021, China produced more goods than the United States, illustrating the shifting balance of economic power. So there you have it, folks. 30 jaw-dropping signs that China is outpacing America. From economic growth to technological innovation, China is rapidly emerging as a global superpower. The U.S. can no longer afford to rest on its laurels. If you found this video thought-provoking, please like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives, because ignoring the problem won't make it go away.